Oh, what a beautiful day. Let's hear ya. To begin things this afternoon, we're going to ask an elder to come up and say a few good words for us. Nimis, how? He reminded us that we are here today for the young people. We are here today for the unborn. We are here to remind Canadians that we have a deal. This deal was entered into in 1876. Grass grows and the water flows. This deal continues. We want to wish the Canadian people happy election day. Remember, you have a deal. Remember that you are here for a reason. That's why you have an opportunity to have a life for your children. Because it is from those people that share their lands with you, the Nehiyawak, the Dene, the Rishnabe, the Pikanli, the Nitsitape, and all the people across the land that you are here. We have certain rights that have not been lived up to. We have obligations that you have forgotten. And today, this is the message that we bring to you. We're going to ask headman from Saddle Lake, Unichigishapuin, DARCY McGilvery, to come and address the crowd.
Tutentek tene niistä inutiin naskamaan kakkio peettä kute kumuutta inutska peenawak agomina good fish whitefish lake we saw. I want to thank each and every one of you, young and old, for making the journey to Edmonton to come and voice our position with the government. I also want to thank our elder for that opening prayer. Our elders, they continue to remind us our traditional values, the pipe. Elgo, that's gonna carry us through these hard times. Our prayer is very powerful. So with that, I wanted to thank our elder. I want to thank the organizers, first and foremost, and the dignitaries. I see some visiting council here from different communities, but I wanted to make mention the students from all the schools, the surrounding communities surrounding Saddle Lake. They took the day off for us to send a message loud and clear. A lot of our funding is misplaced. We are so underfunded in a lot of areas. Because of this, we sent that message that we shut those bus routes down for those surrounding schools so they understand we deserve those opportunities just like everybody else. So with that, I don't want to take too much time. We have an agenda here, but once again, from my heart, from the organizers, from your chief and council, we hear your voices, we hear your cries. For that, we will stand. We will fight every day so the government can hear us. Until they hear us loud and clear, we will continue to force that message that we are here to stay and they are the visitors. So with that, thank you.
Hi, Darcy McGilvery, Saddle Lake. And now our next speaker, Pam Quinn.
Tansen tu temptek. Pisamoya pinatigoen. Onex kapone kotsinia. Why we are here today. As sovereign nations with treaty, we have occupied and lived on this land time immemorial. We will continue to reject Canada's plan for the termination of treaty and to continue to protect our inherent rights. Canada continues to push their legislations and policies that will lead sovereign nations to becoming a fourth level government. We are not a fourth level government. We are a nation. They are not giving nations any other options but to accept them and enter into new contribution agreements that with 10-year grants. There is no guarantee of further funding beyond that. We have not and will not relinquish our sovereignty. We are protecting our ways of life, our ways of being, our inherent rights, our natural laws, our governance structures, our land, and that our children and grandchildren and those yet unborn can enjoy the obligations of the Crown and go about their avocations freely upon our homeland for as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and rivers flow.
Thank you. This next young man is from Unichigasitapuin. He's an active participant in band discussions as a way to contribute to his community. He takes pride in being a part of his nation and is an avid supporter of youth involvement. Kenton is currently attending the University of Alberta for Faculty of Political Sciences in hopes of one day being a political leader. He is one out of 150 Canadians to receive the prestigious Ted Rogers Scholarship Award dedicated toward communal leadership. Kenton Cardinal.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be before you all here today on such occasion. I am here to discuss the importance of youth involvement and the importance of treaty preservation. First and foremost, I must acknowledge our ancestors' generations that signed the treaty, having us in mind so we could continue Indigenous governance and continue the knowledge transfer gifted to us through story. We as Indigenous people have persevered and been through a lot. We faced many acts of assimilation, cultural genocide, and that through the residential school system, the Indian Act, and the White Paper. Treaties were agreements between nation and nation. They were originally in place as a sign of peace and friendship meant to benefit both parties and both national interests. The federal government of Canada at the time had other intentions, land and resources. That being said, the Canadian government would stop at nothing to conquer the land and become an independent country, ultimately straying from the treaty agreement for personal affairs. Now, treaty to me is a sacred agreement. It's made with our pipes. It is a vision from our ancestors to thrive and persevere as Indigenous people today. It is also a reminder that our ancestors thought of us and will keep doing so as we fight for it, for our children. The significance of treaty holds our rights to sovereignty and our rights to tradition. We mustn't let that go. I believe it is our responsibility as a youth to partake in this discussion as we're the next to carry the torch. We must come to forums like this and learn from what is said. We need to learn our history of treaty and connect more with our communities, our elders, our knowledge keepers. And we must ask ourselves, are we doing enough to preserve these rights? I believe it is my responsibility today from the Creator to shed light on the youth perspective and gain support for my justification. I believe it was my mission as a youth to create awareness and continue the work for our ancestors. Youth must come together and support a treaty and must not be afraid for what not yet happened. We must look for solutions and look for a future that works. We need to utilize what is offered. We need to go out and learn for ourselves while the knowledge is rich and alive. We can best learn from oral tradition compared to written text, as text can be manipulated and lacks personality. I believe with the firm backing from many youth, we can continue living treaty. For as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the rivers flow, and as for long as we Indigenous people are here, we will keep the visions of our ancestors alive. Hi, hi.
Thank you, Kenton. Our next speaker is from MCGILVERY. This young woman is leading a battle for their nation, but also for all of us to get our rights recognized. From Beaver Lake, CHERRILENE.
Atam Skatuan, CHERRILENE Sigason, Muskageka, Nehia, Piagoskan, was this amount Oyosiwin Nagatosik. As we continue to be faced with the cumulative effects of the taking up and usurping of our land and resources, followed by the subsequent damages done to our way of life, at its core is the continued racist Indian policy meant to displace our people from the land, inherently left for us to protect. Canada has an obligation to provide constitutional protection for our culture and our way of life. So as we stand here today, in the face of the continued assaults on our treaty, our way of life, our connection to the land and resources, I am reminded of the Beaver Lake Cree Nation's treaty rights case brought in 2008 out of its profound concern for the increasing industrial development authorized by the Crown in its traditional lands. Crown consultation and government legislation has not been directed toward or effective in protecting our way of life and culture. Generations have seen their treaty rights rendered increasingly meaningless as the land, air, and water upon which we depend has been degraded by pollution and increased development. Today, we must remind ourselves of the way in which this government has grounded its legislation, policies, and deliberate infringements. It has and will always be about the land and resources that are inherently our responsibility. And as long as our women are birthing Nehio babies, our pipe and bundle carriers continue to lift our bundles, our land and way of life is here. We will forever be here. I'm going to repeat. So now I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to say something in response. So I'm going to repeat some reminders about why we find ourselves here today. And you will respond with, stand up, fight back. Okay? When the air you breathe is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the water you drink is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When your way of life is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the treaty your ancestors entered is treated as meaningless and not upheld, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the rights of your children, youth, and future generations are infringed upon, what do? Stand up, fight back. When a livable planet and healthy Mother Earth is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. What do? Stand up, fight back. What do? Stand up, fight back. Accept it,
Hi, CHERRILENE. Thank you. Another reminder, nations make treaties. Nations make treaties. We are a nation. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. And now we have a message from one of our leaders, Lenny Jackson.
Hai. Nistan nanas kumon. Inanas kumak mamutaw mo. Inamo atakutaki sakako apatma. Tita pianen wapatin. Uksiwat soon. Hai. Kagi tom ton. Hai. I'm a little no. I'll just share with you. My granddaughter was transferred to the Stollery last night. She went into surgery this morning. I wanted to be there, but I wanted to be here. I asked the Creator, what should I do? And this is where He led me. I'm thankful for that.
Hi.
And on behalf of the Salt Lake Cree Nation, I want to inform you that there are two reasons behind this movement. The first is to create unity amongst our tribes and our relations. As we move forward to stand up and fight back, we are here. The second reason is we are here to denounce the co-developed MOU between the AFN and the federal government. And it is my hope that somebody out there is listening today, as today is election day. Since history, our existence has come under attack for far too long. We need to stand up and fight back. Our existence and our homelands have been under attack through policy and legislation. And the MOU that is currently in place and signed off between the AFN and the federal government speaks to the very heart of who we are. Our children, our grandchildren, and those yet unborn, and our sacred homelands. We need to do everything we can in our power to ensure that our children benefit for years to come through those obligations from the treaty. We need to let Canada know that its entirety is covered with treaty agreements. There are obligations tied to those treaties that have yet to be fully honored. We also need to let the government know, and the Canadian people, that we, the Saddle Lake, are going to push to address accountability and transparency. We need answers as to what happened to our Indian monies. So discreetly disguised under the Consolidated Revenue Fund. We are on a trail of fighting back. And I can speak only for Saddle Lake. I don't like what I see coming out of its bureaucratic table. Already, 4 pieces of legislation have an impact back home and to those of us that are standing here. We need to do what we can to protect and fully honor and hold each other responsible to ensure that we provide that protection for our children, our grandchildren, and those yet unborn. I want to acknowledge and thank the chiefs, councils for being here. Again, this is about unity and about stopping the federal machine. I'm on a trail to fight a good fight from the heart. And I want to acknowledge and thank all of you for being here. I thank Pam for providing the organizing of the event, to our administrator and our administration. Thank you very much. Hai hai.
Thank you, Lenny Jackson. Our next speaker, CHERRILENE Steinhauer, a leader. Aha, wastam.
Chinese.
Wa gtatamskat na wan to temnik. Kimyu. It looks good today. It's powerful when our people gather. I want to thank the elders for their prayer, the chief and the councillors. Agwahiniwak, uniskopiwinwak. I wanted to share something. It's called respect existence or expect resistance. We, the people of Sad Lake Cree Nation, serve notice to the Prime Minister that we do not accept and refuse to be manipulated and coerced into the accelerated strategic plan as laid out in a co-developed MOU between the Grand Chief Perry Bellegarde, representative of the Assembly of First Nations, and the federal government as represented by Justin Trudeau. Shame on you. You must be called out for your meretricious attitudes and reprehensible behaviors. Your integrity begs to be questioned. Ultimately, the people of Sad Lake Cree Nation know and understand that the federal government's strategic plan is a disguise, an illusion to exemplify a tokenistic approach that underscores the truth and distorts the facts, to achieve its end goal of certainty. The truth is, our history provides an excellent source of knowledge. It speaks to the truth about our experiences. Since contact and throughout history, our existence has been under attack. Our autonomy denied, our governing systems denied, our right to pursue our avocations across our homelands denied. These great frauds and abuses, as identified in the Royal Proclamation of 1763, continue today. This Magna Carta laid the foundation to the treaty process. Canada can't deny that it is founded on a series of treaty agreements. Our ancestors of Turtle Island entered into treaty in good faith with the understanding that we were sharing the lands to the depth of a plow. In exchange for guarantees our peoples could rely upon for as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the rivers flow. However, denial of this history exists. Denial of those guarantees as promised have never been fully honored by both the colonial crown and now the crown and right of Canadian governments. The truth is, the obligations of the Crown have been replaced with policies and legislations that are designed to remove the original peoples from their homelands, suppress the original people and their governments, undermine our very existence and a way of life, culture and spirituality by stifling our identity. Need we say more? Fact. Denial exists. Racial discrimination exists. The latter continues to be rooted in government and the institutions that serve it. All this is an attempt to solve the Indian problem, who are best served by absorbing them into the Canadian body polity, assimilation, the 1969 White Paper. This fallback release technique, orchestrated and employed by the government you represent, is a testament to the denial of truth and facts, all to create an environment of finality and certainty. Again, the co-developed tokenistic approach underscores and demonstrates the continued acts of great frauds and abuses that mounts to an egregious violation of a breach of trust. We the people of the Sadd Lake Cree Nation will pursue self-determination and continue to develop our institutions according to our traditions and customs. Our work will be guided by natural law and the supremacy of our sacred spiritual connection to each other, Mother Earth, and the treaty. We now draw your attention to our pursuit kind of hard without a podium. We now draw your attention to our pursuit in obtaining accountability and transparency of Indian monies. Further, we will be seeking a direct funding method based on the obligations owed to the Sadd Lake Cree Nation according to treaty. One that is free from the demands of the current stringent agreements. We oppose the MOU and all contents therein, including the co-developed legislation and policy that are connected to the new fiscal relationship. We speak against entering into or implementing the unilateral weight of the funding agreements that are designed to reflect your infamous co-strategic implementation of the inherent right to self-government policies and legislation, while you, your office and servants seek to be indemnified. We, the people of the Sadd Lake Cree Nation, remind you that you are a state within the Commonwealth, not a nation, as you believe. Relative to the land, it was agreed that we, the original people of the Turtle Island, would share the land to a depth of a plow in exchange for guarantees within the treaty for as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the rivers flow. Thus, we demand that the current and ensuing governments of Canada cease their attempts to undermine who has title to the land and observe the law, honor the obligations with no strings attached at a rate based on today's cost of living. The current political environment has reawakened our spirit to protect the treaty and the land, reminding governments and industry. It is our responsibility to ensure our children, grandchildren, and those yet unborn are free to enjoy the obligations of the Crown and to go about their avocations freely upon our homeland for as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the rivers flow. I
Hi, Cheryline Steinhauer. Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Our next speaker from MCGILVERY, Chief Greg DESJARLAIS. Please make him welcome.
Nista nanaskama mamutawi mo. Nanaskamon imatsin migosin. Minananaskama tuwenska. Nanaskama. Waga magantik. Asemina mamutawi mauskitin uta umutian. I just want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. You know, as I carried your staff, me too, I woke up this morning and I ask for a direction each time I get up. And this is where I am supposed to be, like each and every one of you. You know, we think of our grandchildren and what lies ahead for them. That we aren't violent people. We are merely human beings trying to adhere to the treaty that was signed in 1876 that allows us to share the land. But it has not happened. Where my people and our people across the country live in poverty. I warn the people inside this pink palace here, when your people touch their lips on that pipe, there's an agreement that they cannot go back on. So they have to be very careful how they tread water with us as the first peoples of this land. You know, I thank the elder for the beautiful prayer. She set the tone for us. She called on the Creator and the directions, the grandfathers and the grandmothers, to guide us to where we're trying to walk today. You know, I almost cried a couple times because I love my people. I love each and every one of you. And the message is we have to care for each other because we are human beings. You know, unfortunately, us as leadership, we are delivering the poverty of VINAC to our people. You know, mainstream society think we get money hand over fist. The money we get, we can't even build one house. You know, it's so unfair. You know, the water we drink, the cancers that it causes for our people. I tell INAC we're grossly underfunded. You know, me too. I come here humbly to share, to offer some hope and support to this walk. You know, I see the young people, the old people. That's who it's for. That's who it's about. It's not about me. Me too. As a leader in Frog Lake, my vision and our leadership vision is we went back to spirituality. We went back to spirituality, and that's the direction we're going to go. We're going to try our best to heal our people. Because that's what sovereignty is. You people, we have to be able to stand on our feet and provide for ourselves. We have to be able to show our young people, show them the way to live off the land. Lock arms. Share good things about one another. I thank the organizers for such a great event, and the drummers, and for each and every one of you for coming here for your own special reason, for the kids that you love in your life, that mean so much to you. That's why you're all here. It's not for us. We are not a violent people, but we are very loving and caring and sharing, like we tried to show our guests who took advantage of us here on Turtle Island. I just want to share my love and my kindness. I shake hands with each and every one of you, and may you get to your home fire and wherever you're going today. With that, love yourself, love your partner like the Creator wants us to. As under His eyes we are one. We may be different shades on the outside, but inside we are all red. Thank you. Hi, hi.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Mao. Greg DESJARLAIS. And now we have from Kiputaga, Kuniga New, Marcel Paul.
Natum Scott na kakyo ako magante kuta. Ituitu ako no umuta. Naskama ako na kutawino. Mino ako no umuta. Senior school umuta. One that prayed for us. Naskum nuista. Mino we are ungomo umuta. Uskapio sako umuta mina. No up mo ako ng stiso ta Jerome. Ako na uskapio usmina. Umuta askiota. Kakyo ninan. That's ours. That belongs to us. The land is ours. The land is us as a people. And yes, we have to stand up and fight back because there's no bill of sale for this land. This land belongs to us. This palace that we're standing in front of here stands here on Treaty Number 6. This is our place, and they need to start listening inside here. The Indian Act doesn't belong to us. It's not ours. It is a piece of legislation that was written by them with no consultation to us as the leaders of our communities, our home fires. We have a treaty, and today's vote day. And the National Chief, Bellegarde, does not speak for us. The treaty speaks for us. The treaty means so much to us as the first people of this country. This is our country. We agreed that we would stay in our reservations and live in harmony with everybody else that come from all nationalities to use Turtle Island for their livelihood. Up to the depth of a plow, 6 inches, kayaski teak, ituit tumana. That's what they used to say, the old people. I grew up with that. The white paper is still alive in Trudeau and Scheer and all these guys that are running in this election. You must come and talk to the treaty people. We will tell you what we want, what we know, oral testimony of our people. Oral testimony works in the courthouse just down the block here, an eyewitness, while our people tell us oral testimony. Because the pipe, the Creator, has created treaty for us for the unborn. There's 27 articles, rights, and provisions in treaty. The main treaty that stands out is the medicine chest. It's very important to us because without sharing their medicines and us using our medicines to heal ourselves because of all the things that we went through, residential school, the 60s scoop, and child welfare, we have to create our own laws under treaty so that the governments will quit taking things away from us. So with that, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I want to thank the organizers for doing such a great job today, and the city police for helping escort us through what we've been, with the path that we came. We've been here over 140 some years now, and we're not going away. We're going to continue to live here as long as our ladies birth our children. Ahaw, nanaskama, hey, hey.
Thank you, Marcel Paul. As we ask our drummers to come forth to sing a final prayer song for us, we are reminding Canada they have an obligation. We are reminding Alberta that have received untold riches from our lands, that obligation. That's why we are here today. We are putting Canada and Canadians on notice that this is not the last gathering we will have as we go forward. They need to come to the table and pay the items that were prepaid by our forefathers from our lands, from our resources, that they need to come to the table with those promises that they made. Kinanas ko mga ano ako makan teka kiwi ko kape setiek aka may mutan kikas sum ko na okay te ya miwi che totan kakyo mamaun totan. It is time for our people to become united. The elder reminded me we have to stop fighting one another and to have disagreements with one another. We need to stand united. We need to be together. We need to speak on behalf and to fight on behalf of our children and those that are unborn.